Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with Our Trade, and we're starting our weekly webinar, Trading Prospects Mapping Out the Week Ahead. And I usually use this phrase, and I'll do it again. As traders like to say, you plan your trade, and then you trade your plan. So what we're trying to do here, especially this is the message for new people, that we're trying to create a plan, create a structure, something that would make sense in the upcoming week based on some fundamentals, some technicals. So we'll be more organized. And as you know, in life, if you spend a little bit time on planning, it could improve things. Not guaranteed, but definitely it's going to be less chaos and less reactivity in your actions as you know what you want to do in the upcoming week. A few things about myself. This is me, Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade, and June of this year will be 24 years since I started as a prop trader on Wall Street. It's been quite a journey. So after doing a prop day trading for 11 years, I moved into, I call it the less stressful environment. And I also started to mentor and educate others. And currently, I'm very happy that I have a great opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar: we talk a little bit about fundamentals. We discuss indices, stocks, commodities, forex. We'll take a look at the charts. We'll go over economic calendar and trying to put all this information together. So it would give us a little bit of understanding about the upcoming trading week, because the week already started. As you know, the calendar starts as of Sunday, so this is this week, right? But the trading week starts tomorrow. Risk warning: you can find a full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. The channels, I would really highly recommend to you to sign up and follow us on Telegram, Twitter, or now it's X. And as I always like to say, YouTube channel where you can find a lot of information. You can find tutorials, educational material, webinars. If you ever missed the webinar or you think you're going to miss the webinar, do not stress. You can find a recording. All the webinars are being recorded and posted into YouTube, our channel. So please subscribe, click that bell, get notified, be aware of what's happening. If you are watching this on YouTube, please write your comments, write your feedback. It's very important to me. Definitely, if you like it, feel free to put likes. Feel free to share it with people that you think might benefit from this. And that's it. We're starting. Before we're going into the numbers and everything else, just a little bit of overview of the past week, the one that ended. It was a busy week. We had 5 interest rate decisions. So we'll just go over. It was a lot of expectations. Some were met, some were not. So on Tuesday, we started with Bank of Australia interest rate decision. They kept it at 4.35%. It followed by Bank of Japan decision. Finally, they're in a positive territory. I think it was for 17 years. Then Bank of Japan held this interest rate negative, and we are at 0% now. Japanese yen initially moved lower, as maybe some were expecting some further moves to in a positive area, but we're at the 0%. It's a big progress, I think, anyway. Then we had interest rate decision from US, of course. They kept the rates at the same level. And a press conference give a message to the market that Feds are really working on starting to cut the rates. It's still data dependent, as they always say, but it looks like market took it as an excitement about the upcoming interest rate decision. So they kind of hope now that June will be the first cut. Let's see what happens, but the interest rate remained the same, 5.5%, as it was expected. Then we had a surprise from a Swiss National Bank, that the first major bank that cut the rates. And we'll take a look at Swiss franc later on. They cut the rates by 0.25%, so from 1.75 to 1.5%. And then we had no change from Bank of England at 5.25. And I did some research. I read some analysts are saying that European banks like Bank of England, European Central Bank, they might be considering catching up and cutting the rates as Swiss Bank did. And they said the US is not in such a great rush, and we'll find out. But we did start the process, as you could see. Swiss National Bank cut the rates. So these were the highlights of the week that ended. And then we had Friday. Markets went down a little bit. Individual stocks went down a little bit. And it was very low volume. Also, I checked somewhere and it says that we had the lowest volume among all the US exchanges since November of last year. So a little bit down move on low volume, normal profit taking. So we are facing an interesting week, and we'll take a look what's waiting for us this upcoming week. So also I took a screenshot here. No scary pictures this time, but this is the outlook or projections or predictions from the major Wall Street firms as far as the target for S&P 500. As you know, S&P 500 is indexed as 500 stocks in it, and it's diversified, different industries, different businesses, and so on. So they use it as a general, and traders, a lot of traders using as a general indication of where the equity markets are doing. So Societe Generale, if I'm pronouncing right, they have the highest target, 5,500 by the end of this year, and they just increased it. As of December 11, the target was 4,750. Now they raised it to 5,500. Bank of America, the target was 5,000. Now it's at 5,400. Yardeni Research, 54, stays the same. Barclays from 4,800 to 53. Goldman Sachs from 47 to 5,200. UBS from 47 to 52, and that in parentheses 55 in upside scenario. I don't know what that means. Oppenheimer Asset Management, same, no change. Fundstrat, I don't know who they are. RBC from 5,000 to 51. 50 City from 51 stays the same. Deutsche Bank stays the same, 51. BMO Capital Markets, 51. Wells Fargo, excuse me, from 46.25 to 49. Morgan Stanley, still the same. It could be that they just didn't upgrade it, or maybe they are convinced. I'm not sure. It looks like maybe they didn't upgrade it yet. 42 remains the same in JP Morgan. And if you see the average here, 48.91 to 5,097. But I think these low numbers are affecting it as well. So they didn't say if this is a revised number or they just didn't update it. So I guess we'll find out. In any rate, a lot of bullish mood among the analysts, right? Okay, so this is what the analysts are thinking. Now, the upcoming week, this time actually, I brought not just the high impact, but also mid impact, because on the high impact only had like few events. I personally think some of this orange mid impact, they should be and high impact, something like consumer confidence. That's why I brought them in. So maybe I'll continue doing it this way as well. For new people, this is economic calendar. Things that are being announced, different numbers, events that are coming up on specific days and times. The time here, I chose GMT. You can find economic calendar on our web trader or the mobile app or any provider of economic calendar. You can just Google it if you'd like. It's the same source. It's public information. Nothing secret about it. So it's being the numbers and the events are being released on the times that indicated. You have the previous number, you have the consensus, and whenever the number comes, it shows the actual number. So again, some people disregard these things. I think even if you're not a fundamental trader, just simple logic would work. The following. Certain things are coming out, you just want to be prepared. You don't want to be caught in a huge move or a huge spike or anything else. So especially like NFP or interest rate decisions, any inflational numbers currently are very sensitive. So you want to know certain things happening so you can make your decisions and make the trade, stay away from trade or prepare for the trade, whatever there might be. But knowing it, I think personally, it is important to know these things. So we have Bank of Japan monetary policy meeting minutes. This actually tonight, late tonight, and they might give us some clues about the upcoming actions or any fundamentals that are important. So that's today. Monday starts with Fed speeches, new home sales change, Bank of England man speech. See, some are not so relevant. Like these things, mid-impact, I agree with that. Westpac consumer confidence from Australia. Tuesday, durable goods. You see, these things could be in a high impact, but they put in, they deciding it. It's not my thing. So we have durable goods from US, a housing price index from US, consumer confidence from US. Very, very important, this number here on Tuesday. Wednesday, a monthly consumer price index from Australia. CHF survey expectations. We have business climate, consumer confidence from Europe. Whatever this report, I don't really know what this means. Consumer confidence from New Zealand. When we get to New Zealand, dollar, it's been super weak lately. I guess something's happening there fundamentally. Thursday, we have consumer inflation expectations from New Zealand, Australia. Retail sales from Australia, and then GDP numbers from UK, GDP numbers from Canada. These numbers are very important. The core personal consumption from US, also the GDP numbers from US. So it looks like Thursday, a lot of important data here. You have initial jobless claims, Chicago Purchasing Managers Index, consumer sentiment, another one, very, very important, pending home sales, inflation. Then you have the data from Japan, CPI number. Of course, they are watching the inflation as well, as every central bank does. Employment data, retail, trades. And Friday, we have core personal consumption expenditure prices. These prices are closely watched by the Feds in their decisions. As you could see, it marked in red, high impact. And we have personal consumption expenditures and that closing the week. So quite a few events in the upcoming week we'll be watching. Okay, so let's move now to the trading platform. And let's start from indices. And as a tradition, I start with China. Let's take a look what's happening here. So we have the same movie playing again. We are trying to break out of this 12,000 12,300 area. As you could see here, the sell-off started here back in November. We just had an attempt to break through it on March 12th. We failed. And again, on the 21st, which was Thursday, I believe, we tried it again and we failed again. But we are having a little bit build up here. We are above the 200 moving average. The Chinese government is working really, really hard to inject some incentives into the economy. They're trying some new things now to revive the real estate sector. They are trying, so it's reflecting on a little bit of recovery here. And we are sitting here at these levels in a tight channel between 100 to 200 points. And we are building up so far. We are above 200 moving average here. We could be seeing that impulse breaking above, but as of now, it's not happening. Nikkei, as decision came from Bank of Japan. Yen sold initially. Nikkei went higher. We broke to the previous resistance here. I think this is the all-time high for the Japanese index. Let's see how this week continues for Nikkei. UK 100. That's the UK FTSE index. It is finally showing some real strength here. If you remember, I mentioned a few times that US indices kept on repeating new highs. DAX, even though some say Germany is in recession, but the index is making all-time highs. For me, it's a little bit weird, but it is what it is. And UK index was really lagging. And as you could see in the past 2 weeks, we had a nice move to the upside, and we are on the way to retest the all-time highs that were on February 1st. I think that's what it is, right? Yep. So it is strength. Now something, also I read certain things. They said that, especially after the Swiss bank cutting the rates, they're expecting now the Bank of England to start cutting the rates as soon as August. And some are actually saying that they might see some surprise cutting ahead of that time. So maybe that's what moved the FTSE to the upside. Now, as I said, German DAX is just flying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months to the upside. Straight up. Excuse me. Making all-time highs. We are at 18,500 currently. And here are the US indices. We had a little bit of correction on Friday. As you could see, the volume is slowing down here. After making record highs, again, same thing, Dow Jones. Dow Jones made record high on Thursday, Friday was sold. And NASDAQ, the same thing, we had the spike on Friday, we closed a little bit down. Spike on Thursday and Friday, we closed a little bit down. So these are the indices. I think on Friday, the biggest move down was in Dow Jones. A lot of it to do with, I think, Nike stock when we get there. Actually, we are getting to stocks already. So let's start with Nike. Here's your Nike stock. It was trading down pre-market and just kept down. Basically, the numbers they reported are not so bad, but they say they revealed the plans for the declines actually financially in the first quarter or first half of 2025. So that not the same projection that they had in the previous reports. So the investors reacted immediately. It was a sell-off in the stock, and I think that contributed to losses in Dow Jones as well, among other things. So if you look at Nikes, we came right here to the support back in October of last year, 93.64. We did trade lower, as you could see. It opened the session at 93.59. It went as low as 92. Shows lower even here, right here, yeah, 91.64. And then we continued higher. We went above the opening price and we closed above the opening price. So maybe some traders will try, especially if the market continues higher in the upcoming week or this week, they might try to close the gap, but it was a big sell-off here in Nike. We'll look through a few specific stocks and then we'll take a look at the big players, see how they are feeling these days. So GM, something technically here, caught my eye. We retested the resistance of February 12 right here, coming from the lower low here, and we rejected that price. So the level here was 43.59. I just draw the line here. Also, it's in line in the previous levels here from which was sold. So you could consider it kind of a triple top that failed to continue higher. We are above all the averages here, so we could continue higher easily as well. But for that, we need to break and close about this 43.59 and start building support. If we continue facing this resistance and failing to move higher, we might actually go into correction and retest some lower levels here. And Teva, if you remember, we've been talking about this stock since I don't know, a few months back. Just for new people, just want to bring it up that we start talking about it as the stock started to make this zigzagging between $7 and $11. So we said potentially it could be a nice plan buying around 7 and holding it as a swing trade or short-term investment. And then we said if we break above this resistance here at 14, we might actually start that big move to the upside. And then I mentioned in one of the meetings that some analysts are setting up the target price to $19. And it looks like Teva is really moving towards that. Healthy moves with nice corrections. And we are, this is, excuse me, daily chart. The high was 1391 on March 8th. And we closed a penny higher. So it could be that we're ready to go. Again, just to remind us or to reveal, it's a pharmaceutical company. They produce a lot of generic pharmaceuticals. The stock was at the peak of 2015, July, we were at $72. Then there was a lot of issues with some pharmaceuticals. The stock sold, CEO was, I think, replaced, other restructuring happening. So we've been channeling here between $7 and $11 for a very long time. If you take a larger range, the low here was at 607 and the high was around 14. So we are trying to break out through this long-term side trading. So that's Teva. Let's take a look at big players, I call them. I'm not the only one who's calling them that way. Microsoft, all-time highs again on Thursday. Friday, flat day. Amazon, we're still trying to break through that 179. We did have an attempt on Thursday, went as high as 181.25. It closed below, so we are fighting that level here. Netflix is very strong. It is moving higher here. By the way, they have amazing shows. I'm not going to advertise it here, but some great shows are coming out to Netflix. Google. If you remember, I mentioned Google when the stocks went into correction and Google was moving higher. I think the same day I was mentioning Apple. So they were kind of fighting the gravity of the market. And take a look, shoot up with a gap up and we continue. So we're on the way to retest the all-time highs. Apple as well. The only thing, Apple tried, it didn't succeed as much as Google did. And then we had the sell-off on Thursday. Boeing, it looks like it's settled here with all the issues and investigations and other things that are happening because of their failure with the technical things. We had move up on the 20th and we're holding that thing. So it looks like for now around 179, we kind of found the support. So it's a double bottom here from October of last year. Let's see how we play from here. Banks look very good. JP Morgan made a new high this week again. Friday we spiked higher but closed lower there. So we'll be watching banking sector. Goldman Sachs had nice 2 sessions, Wednesday and Thursday. Friday a little bit of a correction. So it looks like banks are moving higher on that excitement feeling or mood that the Feds are going to start cutting the rates. It looks like the banks are reacting to it in a positive way. That's as far as stocks. We're going to move to currencies, and before that, just want to show you something that let's see. Here we go. 10-year yields, as you know, I bring it up sometimes. And this week the yields went down. We are in the channel here. As I mentioned to you, while this action here was between 420 and 432, we did try to break out, but the whole week we went down and we stopped right at the bottom of this channel. So normally the 10-year yields are going lower. The gold would be moving higher and the dollar would be selling. But this week, dollar remained strong for some reason. And let's take a look what gold did. So actually we will move to commodities first. Apologize for that. And then we'll go to Forex. So commodities, as you could see here, initial move was strong. This was on the 20th, on the Wednesday. We did move higher. We established all-time high again. Looks like it. And then the following 2 days it was a correction. And we closed at 21.65. So that's on gold. Crude oil, initially there was a move up when Ukraine bombed oil refinery of Russia. That was immediate reaction to the upside on oil. And then the next few days we settled down again and we closed at 80.78. Let's see how this week will play. There were a few articles that Ukraine continues targeting oil refineries of Russia. They might create a shortage of oil. So I guess we'll find out how they place for crude oil the upcoming week. If we already talk energies, here's your natural gas. I guess that was a short-lived attempt to break about 170. Came right back, sitting here at 165. Copper, also after this nice move to the upside, the whole week it's pretty much sold. It might continue lower and retest this level potentially at 397.10. That was the previous resistance. If it comes here, you probably have a hard time or some fight around here. Again, we'll be watching what's happening in China as copper and oil are very sensitive to the economic situation or conditions in China. So if we continue lower, we might see this 397 support. If not, we might continue sliding lower. And of course, if we reverse, at least we know this recent move went to 416. That's already an indication where the sellers might be sitting. Palladium, we've been talking about Palladium a little bit. It was a nice move the week before. We did hit the 200 moving average, and this whole week we've been selling, and we closed at 991 between 100 and a 50 moving average here. Let's see what's next. And of course, the cocoa is continuing to be a champion. It's just flying. After a small cool down here with the 3 consecutive weeks that we went from 78 roughly to 89. It's a huge move, and we did close pretty much at the highs on the day and on the week. And again, as I said, I think a few times, the fundamentals are not changing. There's still shortage of cocoa. It's being reflected on the prices of chocolate around the world. So some analysts said, and I agree with them, that at some point the price will be too expensive for some to buy, and that will start affecting the demand, and cooling demand might cool down this move to the upside. So even though supply will remain low, but a lower demand might cause a little bit of reversal of the price. So again, 3 consecutive weeks to the upside. Vertical, this is the monthly. Just to give you an idea, this in the past 3 months, we more than doubled, more than 100%, from around 4,000 to 89. Huge move, and especially this current month. The move is, we are on the 24th of March today. So the March move is larger than the previous 2 months. And we are continuing pushing higher. So we'll be watching the cocoa on possible either continuation or possible reversal. And that's going to be interesting to watch. So here's your dollar index. As you could see, the 10-year yields are not really pushing the dollar lower. And we are facing this resistance here again, as I mentioned to you a few times, around 104.17. We had the reversal here. We had a lot of actions here, few attempts to break. The last one was on March 1st. Then we went almost to 102 from 104, and then we recovered again, and we're coming here. So another thing, if I'm not mistaken, yes, here's your 50-day moving average breaking above 200. So some analysts consider it as a bullish sign and buy signal. And as you could see here, we are facing that resistance, as I said, around 104.15. And let's see if we manage to break. And if we do break above it, in order for it to go higher, we would need to build some support here, some price action above this level. And if we're facing resistance here again, building up below, we might see a move to the lower levels from here. And of course, if you go to majors, we should be around the bottom of the channel here, and it shows, if you remember, this channel I spoke about a few times. We're between 106 and 126 and 128. Take a look. We were at the top of this channel just on Wednesday, and Friday we closed below. Intense sell-off, so strong move on the US dollar. Euro should be at 108 again. Here we go. Back to the basics, right at 200 moving average and below, and right on 108 support. So let's see how this week, it's very crucial. See how dollar acts here. If dollar continues to move higher, we might see the euro and pound breaking below those levels and continue lower. Here's yen, dollar yen. We are trying to break through the previous resistance at 105.90. That was back in November of last year. So far, we didn't manage to do it. USD CAD also trying to break out through the strong resistance levels currently. These are the levels here, 136. So you could see we sold from here, we tried again, we tried again, we tried again, and we're facing that test again at 136. Australian dollar also back at the support at 0.65. And New Zealand dollar has been super weak, as I said in the beginning of the meeting. We just broke through 200 moving average on Thursday, and we continue lower here. I don't see any specific supports here, so if that continues, we might actually go and test lower levels here on New Zealand dollar. It's been weak against most of the major currencies, and like I said earlier, some fundamentals. I'm not aware of specifics, but the currency is moving lower. USD CHF, this move on the decision of Swiss National Bank. Let's see if we continue. If we zoom out in the weekly chart, same thing, we're facing resistance around here. Let's see if that continues. Japanese yen, I'm going to start with Swiss JPY. This was the initial move here, right here, when they announced the interest rate. So we came back to 107.5, 107.52. That's the level where we stopped this initial move to the upside, and then we sold. And then the following day on Friday, we're in red as well. So we'll be watching this pair, because what happens here, both decisions happened. The Swiss National Bank, as I said, they cut the rates. They were the first one to do it, and Bank of Japan brought the rates to 0% from negative 0.1. And if you take a look at other pairs against Japanese yen, it looks like after that initial move on yen to the downside, it regained the strength the following day, and that's on Friday. As you could see, the currencies are selling against the Japanese yen. And tonight we're going to have the Bank of Japan minutes that will be talking more in details about their plans as far as monetary policy. So it might be something that will continue contributing to the strength of Japanese yen, or it could create the opposite effect. But in any event, Friday was a big move in yen to the upside. Let's see if that continues. So that's as far as currencies. Let's just take a look at Euro CHF really quick. We had a strong move to the upside on the decision of Swiss Bank. And now Friday was a reversal. So this level here should be a very strong level. It was September that we had the resistance of last year. Then we had November, a resistance from which we sold. And now we're facing that test again around 96.83 levels. And Friday move lower, and we're getting closer to that level. So you could see here clearly there was a support, resistance. We broke through, and we come back again. So two scenarios, of course. If we hold this level and start building new support, we might continue higher. If we break below this level and start building resistance, we might move lower. And the thing is that 50 moving average is really aggressively approaching the 200 moving average. Last time they crossed, it was May of last year, and it looks like this one is getting closer. So again, some analysts are taking it seriously. This either golden cross or dead cross right here when the 50 moving average goes below. So we're getting closer to it. We might see that signal coming up. So that's Euro CHF. Okay, that's as far as the currencies. And here's the Bitcoin. Again, we had a nice move, brand new high, double top, 2 consecutive days, and we sold. A big sell-off was on the 19th. On the 20th, we just recovered fully that loss. It shows that this level, possibly the buyers are willing to pay. Again, hypothetically, but It's logical after the sell-off. It pushed right back, closed above the previous day. Now a few sessions correction, and today we're in green, trading almost at 65,000. So 61,000 roughly is you can consider it immediate support or recent support. And of course, the resistance is the all-time high. It's around 73 and a half, 74. Did we hit 74? No, 73,700. Okay, so we are in a clear channel now. Way above, of course, all the moving averages. People like speculations. Let's see what this week brings and to the crypto world. Okay. Again, just put it all together. A little summary. Last week we had 5 interest rate decisions. Swiss Bank started or pioneering in the cutting the rates. That brings a little bit of excitement into European zone. Bank of or European Central Bank and Bank of England, according to analysts, they might take that example and do as well. US also, we're getting closer to possible that increase, but no rush. Still data dependent, according to the Feds. We have Friday a little bit sell-off in equities on a very low volume, normal profit taking. And let's see how the weekend, what the weekend creates. A lot of people will digest all these decisions and make plans for the week. We have increased levels for targets for S&P 500, as we mentioned, and a lot of excitement to the upside. At the same time, some cautious analysts are saying that we are overextended. As usual, you have two camps contradicting each other. So I want to wish you a great weekend, whatever's left. We still have a few hours, get some energy, enjoy. Prepare yourself for the upcoming week or for tomorrow, starting trading sessions. And have a successful week. All the best. We should be back next Sunday. Take care.